Let's begin with the presentation about the exploitation of some of the key outcomes that have been derived through the development and deployment of the SPHINX Toolkit. We are a large consortium, including 17 partners, and apart from the pilot end users, we have plenty of technology providers. Either they come from universities or from SMEs or large enterprises. So we have an exhaustive list of 20 components that have been set up in order to produce and deliver the SPHINX Toolkit. I won't enlist them all. You can see them in the tables. But I would like to stress that in most cases, we have reached the TRL 5 and we are close to the TRL 6 and 7 in regards to technology readiness. We have produced quite a lot demonstration videos about how these components can be deployed. We have also produced blog posts regarding these components. Of course, there are corresponding deliverables for them, and we have documented them as entries in the Horizon Results platform of the European Commission. Of course, throughout the project and the components deployment, a lot of scientific publications have been conducted within the context of the actual development of the components. Here, the table continues, and you can see the rest of the components categorized by owner. Overall, we have created a user manual that it is an aggregate catalog of the SPHINX Toolkit components that I have presented. And its aim is to provide information about the installation and the deployment of the components in the form of guidelines for the end users. That is the pilot healthcare ICT personnel. The great aftermath of the SPHINX deployment, apart from what the preceding keynote speakers presented, is the following. We have new scientific knowledge acquired from all the partners in terms of a broader understanding of the cybersecurity concepts, especially in what regards the healthcare sector. And we have also produced research papers and conference contributions in cybersecurity fields, as I previously said. Another great aftermath, another great benefit is the increased expertise and the sharpened skills of the developer partners, because the software research and the development has deepened the partners' technological capabilities and their background. And of course, they have further advanced in concepts and resources while they have been utilized them in the project. This has led to an enhanced portfolio for all partners, with making even more solid their background knowledge that can be applied in future research. And this not only comes in the healthcare sector, but it can also apply to other critical infrastructures and their cybersecurity. The integration of their expertise and the resources that they have produced through the SPHINX project can also be integrated, added, let's say, to their own list of offered services. And last but not least, we have new collaboration ties formed between the partners, because through their joint efforts, they have fostered new connections, and this really enables us to collaborate in the future, both for a shared exploitation of the SPHINX Toolkit, but beyond the SPHINX Toolkit in other projects as well. Another thing that I would like to mention is that we have detailed descriptions of and links to further resources and to the partners' websites in our own website. You can see here both a snapshot of the website and a QR code which you can scan through your mobile applications, and you will directly link to our website, and there you can find more about the components, and you can come in touch with the corresponding lead developer. Of course, it is our aim to further enhance and enrich these sections of our website once the project is completed, and it's one of the eminent steps that we will take. Another thing in regards to the website is the very rich knowledge base that we have in our blog section, where you can find multiple short articles in terms of information bits and pieces about the actual components. You can read about their architecture, the architecture of the entire SPHINX toolkit. You will find information about the interfaces of the components, their functionalities and their requirements for those functionalities, as well as the use cases that have been elaborated for the SPHINX project. Also here you can find the QR code, which it's scannable, and it will direct you link to the project website. So now let's continue with the actual business model for the SPHINX project. There is a common consensus about the value proposition of the SPHINX toolkit, and we as a consortium have agreed upon three main things: that the SPHINX toolkit is first offers vulnerability management, traffic monitoring, forensics, network intrusion and detection, risk management, asset management, log management, threat intelligence, encryption, privacy, decision support, analytics, and automation. The previous presentations about the pilot deployment of the SPHINX toolkit in the pilot sites of the hospitals in Greece, Romania, and Portugal, they have addressed in respective manners that kinds of affordabilities that the SPHINX toolkit is providing. Also, the SPHINX toolkit it is able to handle data of a large number that come from devices and services, thus covering a wide range of use case scenarios, and it is something unique about the SPHINX toolkit. And the last thing that consists of our value proposition is that the SPHINX toolkit affords its users the possibility to stay informed at any time via highly comprehensive visual analytics. Again, you have seen screenshots of such analytics in the components interfaces in the previous presentations. We have also came into an agreement about three steps or three configurations, let's say, about the SPHINX toolkit. The basic configuration of our business model includes an initial package of the SPHINX toolkit that consists of the following components: the vulnerability assessment as a service, the data traffic monitoring, the security information and event management, and of course the interactive dashboards, the service manager, and the common integration platform, which includes all of the above. In the second package of the SPHINX toolkit, we include all the components of the basic configuration, and in addition we have the real-time cyber risk assessment, the artificial intelligence honeypots, the machine learning empowered intrusion detection that it joins the honeypots, the forensic data collection engine, the anonymization and privacy tool, the analytic engine, and the cybersecurity knowledge base. And then we can offer a max configuration, which is the final package of the SPHINX toolkit. Obviously, it includes the previous two configurations and provides the final components of the SPHINX toolkit, that is the anomaly detection, the homomorphic encryption, a decision support system, and the analytic engine. I shall say that the max configuration is directed towards clusters of health provision organizations that belong under the same jurisdiction or the same, let's say, enterprise, but they are based in multiple locations, and they collaborate and communicate in a daily basis for their businesses. Here is a screenshot of the last version of our business model canvas, which was elaborated on in our consortium meeting. Here you can see the overall of the 9 building blocks of our business model canvas, and let's proceed with some details. First and foremost, we should see that in our customer segments building block, we focus on public and private, likewise, health delivery organizations. Either they be clinics, hospitals, care centers, or, as I said before, clusters of healthcare provision that include more than 1 or 2 health delivery organizations. Our long-term goal is to build a customer relationship with such customers that it's going to be fruitful, it's going to be based on a community building, and it's going to be sustainable. So in terms of the relationships, we aim for a long-term interaction with our customers. So in terms of key activities that we need to follow from now on and towards the business exploitation of the SPHINX, we need to proceed with fine-tuning, further development and integration of the components in order to collectively attain a technology readiness level of 7. We need to act in regards to the maintenance of the SPHINX Toolkit in terms of deployment new features if it is needed or if we see fit, and of course a continuous testing and validation of what has already been created. Then we need to act on the field of the marketing and sales, and of course in the customer services. In direct relation to our key activities, we have key resources that we need to dedicate for such activities, and those comprise human resources for future research, development, and support. We also are in need of further IT infrastructure for the maintenance and the development of the SPHINX Toolkit. And last but not least, human and financial resources for the marketing of the SPHINX Toolkit. And let's conclude with our revenue streams and the cost structure. In terms of how we can monetize and commercially exploit the SPHINX Toolkit, we agree that we can have revenue streams that include licensing for the 3 configurations that I have presented before, the basic, the Pro, and the Max. We can have main revenue streams from maintenance and support fees that we can charge for such configurations. And we can commercially exploit SPHINX by training and consulting fees. Then we need to balance them with our cost structure that includes definitely human resources for the key activities that I have mentioned, proper IPR management and infrastructure costs, as well as marketing and sales costs, and some office facilities if it is needed in the future. And that concludes the exploitation of the key outputs of the SPHINX Toolkit. Thanks a lot.